Hey everybody, Dr. Mike here, and I'd like to show you something. How did I go from this to this? A lot of blood, sweat, tears, years, mileage, and a couple of great mentors. Let me introduce them to you. Okay, hey, it's Dr. Mike Lowley, and for those of you who don't know me, I teach management and analytics. And I used to do these videos a couple of years ago, and then I stopped doing them, and a couple of my students found them and said, could you please start them again? I just thought by the end of the year here, I'm a big believer in New Year's. I think it's really great to see where we've been and see where we're going. But in the spirit of looking back and giving thanks, I was thinking about my mentors, and I've had a couple of them. I had a good amount of them, and I'd like to introduce them to you. The first one is Dr. Robert Demichael, and when I met Bob as the chair of the Information Systems Department at Fairfield University, where I went to undergraduate school, he had a whole career as a captain in the Coast Guard. He was an instructor of information systems there, and when I met him, we just hit it off really, really quickly. And I said to him very early on, seeing his lifestyle at Fairfield U, I said, I'd love to do what you do, Bob. And he says, you know what, Mike, take it from me. He said, have a career first, and then if you're still interested in it, you'll have something to teach. Well, we stayed very close, and then he was on my dissertation committee, and he had a lot of influence on my final PhD dissertation as well. I wouldn't be sitting here today without Bob Demichael, and I miss him so much. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2014. I think about him quite often. Moving right along, I'd like to introduce you to Larry D Bakari, who was a titanic influence in my business career. I was fortunate to meet Larry early on in my career. Larry was the kind of guy who owned a room. He had charisma to burn, and he was a really sharp guy, very excellent leader. He was a guy who understood the impact of business, understood the impact of technology, but also understood the people aspects. And he really taught me how to value people. I remember he used to give us comp time, even though the company didn't have it, because he would value when we do overtime. And it just was these kinds of things that I remembered and took with me. The next guy I'd like you to meet is a lifelong friend of mine, Steve Terrell. Now, Steve was my dissertation advisor at Nova Southeastern University, and it was really interesting because I was in the IT track, the IT management PhD track, and Steve was in the EdD program, so that was a terminal degree focused on education. He didn't often teach courses in my track, but for whatever reason, that semester he did. He taught a quantitative course, and he and I just hit it off. After I got my dissertation and I got my PhD degree, he and I just remained close friends. We've published a lot. He introduced me to a lot of conferences and groups and just different avenues into academia that I would not have evolved into. Steve, just retired. If you're watching this, congratulations again. I think it's time to really think about all the people that have done good for us, especially in this rancorous time. Okay, and it's time to pay it forward, right? So I know myself, sometimes I'll get a call from, say, a former student or colleague, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm busy, I can't pick that up. Pick the phone up, meet with them, have coffee, pay it forward. Be a mentor yourself, okay? And it really is almost like, when you do good, it's like a speedboat with a big wake. And that wake is how you're positively influencing people. And, maybe we become a force for good in the world. So please also subscribe to my, to my channel. And I'd like to wish you all a happy and healthy new year. And please reach out to your mentors and thank them. Thanks a lot.